This session is going to be providing a brief overview of our eMAR Carasolva integration. That is actually an add-on module in OnTarget. So we'll also leave some time for some Q&A via the chat. So certainly feel free to put any questions in there. Again, this is really going to be, we're not going to dive super deep into this because that would take much longer than 30 minutes. But I do want to just give you a taste of what this add-on module looks like, what it's all about, what it can do. And we'll go ahead and jump in, go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing that I want to show you is when this module gets enabled, when you subscribe to this module and this gets turned on, a couple of things happen. I'm just going to very briefly jump through some configuration points here. So first thing is under role configuration. What you will see, again, once this gets turned on, is under clients and eMAR. You're going to see this new client eMAR checkbox. So that's the first thing it's going to tell you, hey, this is live. This is connected to the Carasolva platform. And then what you'll see is there are roles that pop out on the right-hand side. Essentially what you're doing is you're mapping a corresponding Carasolva role to the role in OnTarget. And so, for instance, if you have nurses set up in their own role in OnTarget, you can map that to the nursing role, the corresponding nursing role that's in Carasolva. Caregiver would likely go to DSP or to HabTex. So a lot of the predefined roles are kind of already there in Carasolva. You can certainly tweak those. Those can be managed. Any that you don't need, if you're an administrator, you can actually get rid of those. But this is kind of where it starts. The next thing is under the user configuration. There will then be an integrate with eMAR checkbox that becomes available. So you can user by user decide who is going to be integrated with this product, with this platform. So if they don't need this, you're not going to integrate them. They're not going to show as synced. You're good to go. But that's the second piece that you're going to see under the configuration piece. And then really it's pretty simple, guys. When we jump over to the clients, I'm just going to filter down to our Wilmington cost center. When we open up this client record, basically to sync a client record in OnTarget with the eMAR Carasolva platform, it's this checkbox right here, the integrate with eMAR. When that is checked and you see successful synced right there, you know that the data is flowing over to Carasolva. So that's kind of the just the back end sort of configuration piece, right? And so because you are using what we call a single sign-on, right? I'm logged in as the CEO in this test database. I can actually launch directly into the eMAR platform right here in OnTarget seamlessly. So no separate logins necessary. We're doing data passover. So I can do that right here from the eMAR button from a client record. And so that's what you see here. This is kind of like the landing page. This again is configurable, customizable, what you want to see, what you want your staff to see. Right now we're seeing, the bowel tracking, we're seeing alerts, we're seeing prompts, all that good stuff, the location data. Another way of actually launching directly into the eMAR platform is a more global launch. So we actually have this eMAR button right here. When you click on that, it's going to do the same thing. It's just kind of a secondary way of launching into the platform. So I do want to actually show you the process of just how easy it is to actually sync a client. So if we take this client Clay, which we see is not currently integrated with eMAR, let's go ahead and upload a photo. and we want to save that. We're going to get that good Superman photo plugged in there. And then eMAR, and it's as simple as this, guys. We click on integrate with eMAR, hit save, and then we're going to get this submitted for processing. And this is typically a fairly quick process. Usually when we come right back in, we're going to see, yeah, there you go. It's practically instantaneous. We're going to see that synced. So, so now we're going to go ahead and pop out into the Carasolva platform. And one thing to note, just kind of before we get into the medication piece and actually adding, I'm going to go through the process of adding a medication. We'll actually go through the administration piece and the prompts. We'll talk about vitals and all the other things, PRN medications, all of the things that you can do with this platform. It's very sophisticated. There is also pharmacy integration available. So if you have a commercial pharmacy that you work with, you know, typically we're not talking like really the CVS or the Walgreens type. We're talking more of like a commercial based, you know, like they're like a delivery style medications. This platform will integrate with pharmacy. So when you get that integrated, and we certainly help with that, we help with getting all of the things connected in the back end, that those medications will start flowing, right? That data is going to start flowing right in here. Your nursing staff, your NPs, they can essentially check in the medications. So there's that process. We won't go through that, but if you decide to go that route and you got the pharmacy integration, this is basically where it would show up. You would see pharmacy waiting, and you know, hey, I came in here today and I've got 10 new medications. Again, this is role dependent. Likely you would have this configured where only your nurses or security admins would see that. They check those meds in, and then they flow right over into the client record, and it populates their prompting. So just to let you know, that is an option, pharmacy integration. I do want to show you just the process of manually entering a med. So let's go again to Wilmington. So what you'll notice, what you're seeing here are actually cost centers. If you're already familiar with the concept of cost centers in OnTarget, I just clicked on the Wilmington cost center, right? So we can see that client that I just integrated, the one that I just synced over, this Clay client. See the photo, we can see all the information. When I click on, you know, well, okay, so we're getting an error here, so we may have to go through another. But when I click on a client, we're gonna actually see that client open up, and we probably got that error because there's a delay in syncing. But anyway, this is what you're seeing here are the prompts. These are actually the medications that have been added. If there are things like body checks or weight measurements that need to happen, vitals that need to happen. The other great thing about this is BM tracking. I'll show you guys that. So all of that is kind of part of the platform. All of that is integrated. You can see here are some that got missed, right? These were obviously from this morning. We had a 6:30 a.m. and 9 a.m. pass for albuterol. And then unfortunately we missed our body check here at 9 a.m. And then you can actually show all old prompts, right? So this would not be good, right, guys? This would be a whole bunch that were missed. You can clear, these can be cleared. And again, that is role dependent. I'm in a kind of high level security admin role right now. So direct care, DSPs, Habtechs, they certainly would not have that ability to just clear old prompts. So again, I'm going to show just my current prompts. Here is a really good one. I'm going to go ahead and pass this one. These I missed. I'm just going to leave those alone for now. But the gabapentin, I'm certainly within the window of give here. So I do want to kind of show you this. You've got reset, just simply closes it, right? Just kind of does what it says, it resets. Out, that would be for like the client's not in the home or the facility. That's just a way of kind of indicating client's not here. Obviously refusal, if there's a reason for the medication to be put on hold, maybe the nurse, has said, hey, this is contraindicated. We're putting this medication on hold for the moment because of, whatever reason, right? Maybe it's going to interfere with another medication they're currently on. So hold. You've got others, just kind of like a miscellaneous button. And then all of these are configurable. The system is very highly configurable. You can add your own agency specific buttons. If you have a very, very specific thing that you're trying to track or, plug in here, this is customizable. Typically, if I'm ready to pass this medication, I'm going to mark it as successful. And there you go. I'm going to see that. Obviously, that dropped off of my list. And then I can go back and I can click on, the old. I can get back at all of my old medications prompts as well, or I can do show all prompts, right? So I can kind of do that, and I can see the old stuff. So current prompts is typically what I'm working with. Albuterol, that would be another one. That window opens at 12, so we're certainly within that 1 hour of give either side. You can define that as well. So when you enter a medication, you can define, and I'll show you this in just a bit, you can define precisely when that window opens. If that, typically it's the 1 hour of give either side, but that can be tailored to your agency as well. You've got a drug guide here, which is really good. That kind of pops out into, and we're in just understand, guys, we're in a test database, a test environment, so that's probably why we're hitting some of these errors. But this is a useful thing. The drug guide is exactly what it sounds like. It passes out into essentially like a pamphlet, what you would get from your pharmacy for a medication on all of the details, all of the indications for the medication that you would need to know. Albuterol, here again, we could say, you know what? Isaac just wasn't feeling it today. He did not want to use his albuterol and nebulizer, so we could certainly mark that as refused. We have this configured to where when we mark a refusal, we've got to give a comment, right? So Isaac did not want to use his nebulizer today, right? So we certainly are going to allow for that. And then we do have other things, right? Like vitals, like other checks, weight, right? Things like, here you go, report if loss or gain of 5 pounds or more. So if somebody is highly prone to weight loss, or maybe they're on a medication that could have a side effect of leading to weight loss, and we don't want that. This is where, obviously we could be tracking that. You guys notice that it just popped up and said, hey, this is a future time. That's great, right? It's keeping on track. It's 11:46, and we're indicating, hey, this is a 1 p.m. Thing. So you can set this weight, again, body and scalp check, same idea. You can plug in here, yes, this was successful. When you mark successful here, you would actually enter, right? You would put in, look, he's maintained 170 pounds. You would hit successful, and the system can be set up specifically for this individual, for Isaac, to say, look, his target weight, he is currently, 170. If he drops to 164, give us a warning. And you can set it to where, look, the nurses will be notified, the staff are going to be notified, the administrators are going to be notified, all that good stuff. I'll go ahead and kind of show you this one real quick. We have BM tracking, which is a really nice thing to have in here. So we could have here, we could say this was observed, let's say 11 a.m. Our continent, we got the Bristol scale here, which is interesting. We're going to say here, and we're just going to kind of give some detail here. Any additional comments you would need to give here, and then we can obviously go ahead and save that data. And now you will notice is that it has been 0 days and 0 hours since last BM. So this is another thing that you can set specific to the client. So if you have an individual that you need to very, very highly track, are they having regular BMs? Maybe again, they're taking a medication that is making them prone to constipation. We're trying to prevent impaction, something like that. That's a way you can set these parameters and these warnings to say, look, if they have not had a BM within 24 hours, we want to be notified. We want to know that. And you may have noticed that was kind of showing in like caution yellow before, because we had exceeded the 24 hours. It was giving us that threshold warning. So now we're good. We're at the 0 days. Where everything is getting date and time stamped, guys, in the background. There's all kinds of reports that you can use here. The other things here, like there are PRN medications. So let's say that we did not have a successful VM. And again, we're trying to treat constipation. One of the PRN medications that's been set up for Isaac is milk of magnesia. So we've got our instructions here. We can go ahead and, like, I can put in remarks, needed 30 mil of mom, and then we can save it. And then there we go. So that would be, again, an example of a PRN medication. You guys have kind of seen the scheduled meds. Again, you've got the other things like weight, body scalp checks, vitals are another big thing. So again, like if you need to check blood pressure, this would be more like an on-the-fly or just on-demand check of vitals. So again, I could say, blood pressure here, and let's say we're good, right? We're very, very well controlled and in range, successful. We just did this, say, at 11:30, and I don't really need to add any comments, and then I'm going to go ahead and save that, and it's finished. You can also set a threshold here. So if that pressure is exceeding a threshold, right? You could put this at 200 and 120, or something super high, or whatever that threshold needs to be. Those warnings, those indications are all going to be coming through. So it's very sophisticated. And then there's reporting on all of this too, right? There's the first thing I'll show you. Just some of the basics that you've got right here that is they're more kind of the DSP based, but here's my current medication sheet. So the 0 would just be indicating other. The X is not scheduled, so we shouldn't have that scheduled at the time. Any refusals, there's that refusal of the albuterol. So you see the key down here, guys. And then it is putting my initials right here. So that's the CEO, right? So I'm getting the initials here. I'm getting my date and time stamps. Any remarks that are made. My signature also goes on the MAR. So that's where we have my signature. So if you've got multiple staff that are contributing to this, then obviously you could have 10, 20 staff members, and all of their signatures are going to be reflected right here at the bottom. Any PRNs are going to come down here. Here's that milk of magnesia suspension that I administered. So that showed up right there under PRN for January. And then some of these we're maybe not going to have data on. The current task sheet, again, here you go. Here's the body and scalp checks. So actually did do that yesterday, so that was good. So that was done at 9 a.m. That was completed, and then we have like our vitals. Again, here's where I successfully took the blood pressure. These are printable. You can export these. Really, really good information. Again, these are just the basic reports. And then there's a really, really nice face sheet here. We don't have a ton of information in here on Isaac, but you guys can plug as much information as you want. We actually sync over a lot of the data from OnTarget. So a lot of the basic demographic info, right? The name, date of birth, address, the sex, all that information. We're just automatically going to pull that over. And then if you have any additional information that you would like to capture that you can't capture in OnTarget, like BMI, things like that, you absolutely could put that into this platform. And this is printable, right? So you could print this out, take it to the doctor, take it to the physician's visit, and you've got a ready-made face sheet right there. So I'll go back to the prompts page. You can place a client on leave. So if they're going to be on leave for an extended period of time, maybe they're going home, maybe they're going home for a home visit, you can place them on leave. You can say reason for leave, medication actions, yes, place on leave, or you can cancel. It's just as easy to take them off of leave. The other here, let's see, under other reports, I'll just call out a couple here. Here's the BM report. So I do want to show you that one. So you can already see where we have been marking all that information. We've got some good data already started here. So that gives you all of that detail. Again, those are printable. You've got, again, under other reports, you've got count sheet. I'll kind of call that one out. That is obviously for controlled medications. So if you need to have your staff track the controlled meds and a controlled med sheet, you can have that in there. There's a medication destruction report. So if you need to, if your agency per regulation needs to track destruction of medications, you can do that. Home medication report, this is another good one. This one is really designed, as it sounds, for the individual to take with them home. So again, like maybe I've been put on leave, I'm going home for the weekend, but we need something to print out to hand to the parent, right? And we can indicate the absence from and to date. And here, obviously, we've got lockbox provided, yes or no. So this would be really for those situations where we're sending some medications home with the client. We're expecting that guardian family member is going to be providing these medications, and then they're going to come back into our care. So that's another really good one that they can take with them. And then there's let's see, the med sheet, OEM. Okay, I'm not seeing that one. There's one that's a med sheet OEM, and it will actually give you precise timestamps and moments that the staff clicked on a prompt. I'll actually show you though, and I know where that is. So go to medication. Here are the medications for Isaac. Adding a medication, I know we've got about 4 minutes, guys, so we're coming close to time. But adding medication, if you don't have the pharmacy integration, that's not a problem. You can absolutely manually add medications in here. And it's super, super simple. So I could literally start typing in my medication name. Let's say it's Abilify 10 milligrams, right? Maybe it's 10. And then I can, again, do my type ahead, 10 milligrams. My route is by mouth. Again, just going to put something in here. It's probably looking for that pharmacy integration. But then maybe my prescription is take 3 times daily with water. Any additional instructions, name of the prescribing physician. This would not be a controlled substance in this case, but you certainly can enter, obviously, controlled substances. This is daily. Maybe my administration times are 9:30. This is designed to be a military time for the administrator that's putting this in. For ease of use, the direct care staff are just going to see standard times, but maybe this is 3 times daily and it's at 9, 11, and 1600 hours. Under early administration, again, this would be that hour of give, right? So that's kind of where you can set that, 1 hour either side. And then the other thing that we would want to do is administration overdue. So this is those alerts, right? I was kind of talking again about the alerts that you can set. So you would be able to set in here, like any time that a medication is overdue, we want to get alerts on that. And you can define who gets the alert, how they get it. Does that need to come via text? Does that need to come here within the system? All of that can be defined within what is called the back office here. So once you've got all that information, again, entering a medication is super, super simple. There you go. We've got that 10 milligrams of Abilify added in there. Last couple of things, guys. I think I've got 1, maybe 2 minutes left. Just a couple of reports here. You've got a lot of management-based reports. Couple that I'll call out here, the all medication report. That is super good for audits, for investigations. So you could, and we may not get any data here. Here we go. Yeah. So this is, again, just kind of that medication sheet, like all medications. What is Isaac currently taking? What has he been prescribed? Let me just kind of bounce back here again into Isaac's page. Management reports, couple of others, bowel management report. We already talked about medication destruction, the count sheet. So that's where you can actually get the reporting on the counts, on the medication counts, and making sure all that is accurate. You've got a home medication report. And then, like I said, the med sheet OEM, that's just going to give you more detail, gives you a little more detail than the standard report. It just kind of gives even more detail and time and date stamps and things of that nature. Last thing I want to show you, just some company reports. Right here under company reports. Let's see, it jumped out. Try that one more time. There we go. So yeah, a couple here to call out. The med error report. That's a huge one, right? Anytime that a medication error has been documented or notated, you want to be able to see those medication errors. So that's a great one. The total events, that shows all of the events. So some of these are very high-level, comprehensive reports that you can run. And here's a really, really nice one, just a simple user list. Let's just kind of see within the month our users, right? So this is actually the, like for instance, the DSPs, the administrators, all the folks that are actually passing medications. So I can export this. I can see, look, who is active, who is actually providing meds, who's giving meds, what is their role, what are they doing? Again, this is something you can export. It's really just kind of ties into what you would see in the employee record and OnTarget, only it's high level and it's specific to the eMAR piece.